Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast of Woven Together. This will be episode 63. We're excited to be here. Just came off a wonderful, wonderful week, marriage conference. Back to the garden. It's our union conference, and did you enjoy it?
I did.
I thought it was so good. I enjoyed, what you and I got to kind of talk through and just work through. I thought that was really good. Our table discussion was really good. And then I thought, overall, just seeing all these couples kind of move to new levels and just be so intentional about their marriage really inspired me. I was just like, man, it just felt right, didn't it? It just felt right. Mm-hmm. Just kind of seeing people take the time to be with your spouse, intentionally listen to all the different things. And so we're going to get into this today. We're fixing to show you the first episode, or the first session. Thank you. The first session of our union conference. And this is Coy and Amanda Fox. They were talking about vision for your marriage, setting vision. And specifically, they kind of do a vision retreat for their marriage every year. And so they just kind of shared that with us. And they kind of just talked about vision, how to make a vision for your marriage, and just being intentional about that. Kind of inspired us like, hey, we're going to do that this next year. We're going to have a vision retreat, some kind of time away where we can literally just pray through, God, what do you want to do in our marriage specifically? Sometimes we pray like, oh, what do you want to do in my job? What do you want to do in my kids? What do you want? But really it starts with, obviously, our relationship with God and then our relationship with each other. It has to start there, because if it starts at any other space, it's out of order. Right. And so I think Coy and Amanda do a great job here. We're going to get you to that session right now, and we hope you enjoy it. We'll see you in a minute.
We are Coy and Amanda. I'm Coy, she's Amanda. Sometimes that can be confusing to me. When we got married, I said her name at the ceremony, so that was a little hiccup that I made. So, but we want to talk to you guys tonight about vision, and it's going to be awesome. And we did a retreat this year. It was really fun, vision retreat. But I don't know why you came tonight. Guys, most likely because your wife asked you to, and if it was your idea to come, then more power to you, or maybe someone coerced you. But either way, you're here, so that's the first step. God has something great for you this weekend. There's a big purpose. We're all going to get something good out of it these next 3 days. And I don't know if you came here to save your marriage, enhance your marriage, marginally improve your marriage, or just take a nap while your kids are in free childcare. But either way, you're going to get something good out of this. Just don't take a nap on my time, because I will make a loud noise from time to time to try to wake you up in case you start snoozing. But we're going to talk about vision. And the first time that I saw Amanda, she came walking into church, and she actually sat right over there. I still remember right where she sat. Do you remember, babe? No, she doesn't remember. Yeah, she's out with her grandma. Yeah, her grandma still sits in the same spot. So yeah, we can map it out. But I was on the back row over there, and but when I first saw her, my vision was locked. I was like, meow. I was standing by my brother, and he was actually like, after about 30 minutes, he kind of slapped me and was like, Coy, you're just being a little inappropriate. But my vision was locked on her. I liked the way she looked. I thought, I want to meet this young lady, this fine thing. And I had a purpose and a goal. It was very clear to me I wanted to meet her. Her vision didn't come into alignment with mine very easily. I went downstairs. I wasn't stalking her. I was just going to get my Chinese sister at the time. That's a whole nother story. Just roll with it. But she was helping in the nursery, and Amanda was picking up her nephew. And I tried to say hello to her, and she literally just walked right past me. And she said she didn't see me, but I find that kind of hard to believe because I was jumping up and down, waving my hands, yelling hello. I was like, hello, hello. And she's like, I didn't see you at all. But anyways, so her vision did not come into alignment with I had vision for her, but she did not have the same vision for me. So we had a outside party, a third party help me out a little bit. I had to get some help from my sister-in-law. she had her over doing Mary Kay, doing some makeup, and she was like, "Oh, you know what? You should go meet my brother-in-law. He thinks you are so fun." And she was like, "Okay, as long as it's a really cool place." And she's like, "Oh yeah, it's a really nice place. It's called the Sell Barn, Roswell Livestock Auction." I was down there branding cattle. On the way over, my sister-in-law told her he has poop on his pants, but it's not his own poop. Don't worry. Yeah, literally told her that. So she still came, surprisingly. It wasn't my poop. It was cow poop, but still not highly attractive. I'm sure I had blood on me also. It wasn't my blood either. But yeah, so we started dating. Her vision came into alignment with my vision, and as soon as she saw me, she thought the same thing. Dang, this boy fine. No, I don't think she thought that. I had to work, right? Guys, if your wife is prettier than you, then that's awesome. That's what it's supposed to be. So yeah, I had to work to get her vision into alignment with mine, and I had a third party's help. But after, dating for quite a while, about 3 months, and then being engaged for about a month and a half, we got married. And no, it was a little bit longer than that, but yeah, we were already married by the time I'd known her for a year. But I knew love at first sight when I saw her. That's her. But anyways, and she didn't until a couple of months ago. She finally accepted it. But anyway, so that's why we're speaking this year. But we'll go into that later. She needs some healing anyways. But yeah, I lost where I was going about that. Okay, yeah, no. So we had an outside helper on that. We had a third party help us. We got married. We started having children, and a lot of people think that our kids are attractive and bright. And one person said, "Well, somebody should study your genes because your kids are so smart and so attractive." And I said, I studied Amanda's genes the first time I met her, the whole time we were dating, and after 13 years of marriage, I'm still studying her genes. So I agree. But we did have a third-party source help us come into alignment with vision. All right, the jokes are over. Now let's get into the serious stuff. I'm a serious guy once I get past a little bit of jokes. But so it's like that with the relationship with marriage. And it says in Genesis 1:26 through 28, you could go read that later. It's really good. And you can check out a guy, I think his name is Jimmy Evans, who goes into more detail about this. But marriage is meant to be a reflection of the Holy Trinity, of God the Father, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus Christ, the Holy Trinity. And it says in Genesis 1:26, let's make man in our image. And he's talking our image, like, because it's more than one of them. And it even later says, let's make man both male and female. So he's not just talking about making the man in his image. He's talking about making something that looks like the Holy Trinity. And that's why the enemy really hates marriage, because it's a reflection of the Holy Trinity. And God's overall purpose for your marriage is relationship. You were created to pursue him and enjoy a relationship with each other. Through marriage, he helps form us into the people that he has created us to be. So that's the big picture, but God is also interested in the details, the little things, the things that you're doing in your life, in your marriage. Your marriage can literally change everyone around you, because if they see the way that you're living, if they see your marriage, when so many marriages are failing and having trouble, they can really be changed by that. And that's God's plan. He wants to look at the details. And how do you discover what his purpose is for you? It's simple. You ask him. Together, ask God, why did you put us together? And phrase it like that. Don't be like, why did you put us together? Okay, that's a bad start. I'm sure we've all said that a time or two. But this one actually asks God, why did you put us together? Then listen for the answer and seek the answer on an annual vision retreat. My wife's going to get into that. It's really cool. Get away from your kids, your responsibilities, and get alone with each other. Seek God, pray, talk, and be vulnerable. Don't put up these walls that you put up all the time. We do put up walls. Sometimes we have to, in the workplace or in social areas. I think that it would be awesome if we could all get to a place where we don't put up these walls and just let people in, but especially with your spouse, don't put up those walls. If you're going to go away and go on this retreat, be honest with each other. If you have something that's hurting you or a certain way that you feel, then be honest with your spouse. Don't put up these walls, whatever it is that the wife thinks that the husband's not sensitive enough. The husband thinks the wife's too sensitive, or maybe you're a flip of that thing. Maybe you're a very sensitive guy. That's probably untypical. No, I'm just kidding. I cried during the Olympic commercials. I'll admit it. Yeah, but anyways, be vulnerable with each other. Don't be dishonest. Don't try to put up a front. But you may still be wondering, why is vision so important for marriage? Vision. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why it is so important. Number 1 is clarity. If you're taking notes, this would be number 1. I already said that. Clarity. It's impossible to succeed. Thank you, Becky. Appreciate that. If you don't know the vision for your life and marriage, then it's impossible to get excited about it, right? It's hard to get excited about something that you don't know about, right? It's like you walk into a room and everyone's jumping around and you're like, what's going on? And they're like, I don't know, but it's going to be awesome. No, people get excited about what they know about, right? Clarity. So God never creates anything to operate in confusion. He will shine a light on our confusion to give us clarity. He will help us understand why he has put us together. Number 2, passion. Let's say it in like a deep voice. Passion. Yeah, guys are getting excited like, oh, passion. Well, yeah, that can be intermingled, but we're actually talking about something different in this case. If you don't know the vision for your life and marriage, then it's impossible to get excited about it. But once you identify this purpose, you can pursue it with energy and passion. You will wake up every morning excited to pursue your purpose. So, number 3, purity. Have you ever heard the phrase, idle hands are the devil's workshop? Without a purpose, people cast off restraint and fall into sin. But with a shared vision, you'll live your life pursuing something concrete that keeps you from being as vulnerable to negative influences or temptations. So a focus can really give you purity because it can help you stay focused and fight off all those the idle moments. Then unity. Couples fight when they don't see eye to eye. Am I right? Has anyone in here ever had a fight where you didn't see eye to eye? Yeah? Okay, a few of us. Has anyone ever had a fight where you did see eye to eye? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess that's mostly us. We've had a few. Like last night, she told me a lie about my sheet. Anyways, so I'm going to let it go. Unity, couples fight when they don't see eye to eye. The word division even refers to this. It comes from a root word that means competing vision. 2 can't walk together unless they're in agreement. And a husband and a wife who are divided will not see success in their marriage. Instead of division, you need univision, and not Univision, the Spanish channel. This is actually something different. Univision, a single vision. Victory. We all like victory, right? That's the last one. They put it last because it's the one that's going to get you most excited. Have you ever run a race where you didn't know where the finish line was? Probably not. If you don't know which direction to head, how will you ever finish? Victory is only possible when a specific goal is in sight. So those are the 5 reasons for the vision retreat and the necessity for vision, what it can do for your marriage. But all of these virtues can result from seeking and discovering God's vision for your marriage. As you bond together in a vision retreat, you will find your relationship being healed. You'll begin moving in the same direction. You'll find clarity, purity, and passion. Ultimately, you'll discover victory. If you haven't planned a vision retreat, I suggest taking one with your spouse. That's the key. Definitely take it with your spouse. So Amanda's going to take over and give you some actual practical details about the vision retreat and kind of what we did. So give her a hand. Welcome her, please.
Okay, guys. So I am not a teacher Well, I actually am a teacher because I teach my own children. But you know when we take those tests, what are they? Caleb, you made us take one. Where are you? What was the test we took? Yes. So we take those spiritual gifts, and the first time I took one, Mrs. Rapp was like teaching a big class up here, and I was like, yes, I want to be a teacher because, I mean, like I've been homeschooling my children from the start of their school year, and my son's 12 now. I am zero teacher. Like, it's not even on my radar. So I'm kind of nervous to be up here because I don't think it's my, like I'm doing like 4th grade math and like 7th grade math. You know, it's getting harder, but it's okay. But I don't think I say things as clearly as I think. So I'm just going to tell you guys about what we did this year. Okay. So, give me grace. And if you actually, like if I make something really confusing, you can come ask me later and I'll probably talk to you much better when I'm down there. So, okay. So we took this vision retreat, and we keep saying the word over and over again, vision retreat, because I got an email, and I think it was sent to me from my mother-in-law. She likes to keep our marriage top notch. She really tries to help us out, and she sent me this email, and it was from one of her favorite people. I think she'll probably talk about him later, and is, you know, she just subscribes to all of these things. And she sent it to me, and it talks about a vision retreat. And I read it, and I was like, I want to do that so bad. Like he said, we've been married almost 13 years. We have 2 kids. We don't get away that often. We're usually here. Coy sings Sunday mornings, and we help Wednesday nights. And, you know, we just don't go, and we don't have all that, like a ton of money. We don't, like, go everywhere all the time. So when I read it, I was like, I got to do that. We have to do that. And I read it to Coy because he doesn't have email. And he was like, sure, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, right. Why not? And I was like, yes, you know. So I secured my babysitter. I like told my mother-in-law, like, hey, you got to start us on this. Like, you got to keep my kids, you know. And I think we're having like an in-law talk later. And I just want to let you guys know, I'm so sorry that nobody is going to be able to compare to my in-laws because I have the best in-laws. Yours are pretty good too, huh? What do you think about your in-laws? She's watching probably. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. You're great. Definitely. No, so we kept joking about it, like vision retreat, and we tell everybody. My niece is sitting in the room, and I'd be like, "Hey, Micah, I'm going on a vision retreat. Like, we're going on this vision retreat. Like, we were about it. Like, we told everybody. I told Logan and Michelle that's what got us in trouble here. That's why we're sitting here. You know, like we were about it. Like I was like telling everybody, I'm like, nothing's getting in the way. Like we are going on this thing. I'm leaving my kids. And no matter what, we're going. So that's why we keep saying it over and over again, because that's what we did. So basically what we did is we just took some time for ourselves. And the email talked about how, like, you can make it as short or as long as possible, but, like, actually physically get out of your home. Like, it even, like, mentioned, like, if you can't go out of town, like, rent a room in your town. Like, get out of your house, which I was kind of like, we could do it in our house. And Coy was like, no, we can't. Like, we'll just have to clean and do all kinds of projects or something. So, like, physically get out of your home. And that's what we did. We just went to Ruidoso, guys. Like, we didn't go anywhere big. Maybe one day we'll go to, like, Hawaii or something. Like, that'd be kind of cool. But we didn't go anywhere big. We just went down to Ruidoso. We rented, like, one of those tiny cabins. Like, has anybody ever, like, seen them? They're, like, tiny little things. It's, like, a bed and, like, a little, like, kitchenette thing that was like for like a miniature. I don't know. It's just tiny. I felt like a giant in there. But that's all it was. Like it had a fireplace too. And I've always wanted to do that. So that's what we did. It wasn't anything crazy, fancy, or expensive, but it was perfect. So before we went on our trip, we took some time to like actually think about it. And like we were intentional about what we were going to talk about. Like I really needed to get a plan of our finances, and Shaun and Dawn are really good at their finances, and every time they say something, I'm like, oh, we're terrible. So we made different categories for ourselves, like finances, kids. Like I said, I homeschool our kids, and Coy was like, what can I do so we don't have tragic days, you know? That was really big on his list, because sometimes when he comes home for lunch, we're all a mess. But sidebar. So we made these different categories, like absolutely do that. Like, on your own. Coy would come home from work and be like, can you write that down? Because I want to talk about that with you. Like, we have all of these different categories. And it didn't have to be big, like, issues that you have. Like, I wouldn't have said we had, like, a ton of issues then. Like, we get on to each other, you know? Yeah, we have to really work through some things now. I mean, like, we kind of, like, nag back and forth, but we don't, like, really fight anymore. Like, I think we just, I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't come back. But there was a time in our marriage where it was like, oh my, you know. But we don't do that anymore. So it's not like we had like these huge like issues or anything. We just needed to like talk about some things. Like one of our conversations was, you know, like how can we like get good things into us? Like, so we decided we would listen to Shaun and Dawn's podcast. We would read so many books in a year, which we're doing terrible on. We got really started doing that. But anyway, so different categories, okay? And about that one. Yeah, that one kind of went under the rug, but it's okay. So like we have these different categories, and I'm a planner. I don't know if anybody else likes, like, does anybody still like an actual planner? Like a written one? I know Micah does. Yeah, like I have, like my planner has like my name on it. Like it's fancy. I was going to bring it, but then I thought Coy would say nerd alert. Like
nerd alert.
So like I took my
I'm not a planner.
No, he doesn't have a planner. I took my planner with me, and then we have like a big wall calendar that we use for like our kids, and we put it on. I took that with me. And what else did I take? We took our Bibles. Definitely take that one. If we actually had like a little worship service, because we did miss church one time, and we had church by ourselves, and Coy like sang and stuff, but we just played worship music too. So if you don't have like a musician or anything, it's okay. But okay, so we did our categories, we got all of our supplies together, and then we like dropped them kids off and left. Like it was like, here, you do whatever you want with them. So we went on our vision retreat, right? We were really excited about it, and it was good, guys. I think I told Michelle when I came home, like, it was magical. Like, we had such a good time. But what we did, it's like, okay, so your vision retreat is like half of the day is you're working. Like, you're working over these items. You know, you're praying with each other, you're talking, you're getting things down on paper if you need to. And then the other half of the day is play. And, like, no work. Like, you can't talk about those things anymore. You can't really continue that. Like, you have to cut it off and do something fun. One day we took a nap. That was nice. I think we played some Frisbee golf. We walked around town. You know, like, it was just something you enjoy. Like, Tom and Becky, you would probably hike. You know, I don't know. Like, just something you enjoy to do. We're not hikers. I don't want to go on a big old mountain. No, thank you. Like, a couple of courses on the Frisbee golf, and I was like, let's go get lunch. Like, we're done. You know, we're not big hikers, but if you are, just go for a hike. Okay, so don't work the whole time, but don't be afraid to, like, actually, like, get in some conversations with each other. Like, the email said, don't be afraid to fight with each other. We didn't fight, but we did have some conversations. I was like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, I don't know, you know? So, like, don't be afraid to do that stuff. But, like, don't let it, like, carry on. That's why you have to stop. You have a stopping point, okay? But each category, we prayed over it, okay? Like, we prayed before. Like, he would pray and I would pray, and then we would just start talking about it. And it was like we had, like, all kinds of vision about it, right? It was like God just helped us. He just communicated with us about this simple thing, because God cares about the small things in your life too. You know, he doesn't just care about the big long run. He cares about those little things, and he doesn't want you to struggle in your day-to-day life, you know, just because you're saved. Like, he's like, oh, well, eventually you'll get to heaven. Like, he doesn't want you to live like that. He cares about those little things. So I think that's all I want to say about that. But another cool thing we did is I got this app. Should I say what it is?
Sure.
Okay. I got this app, and let me give you, okay. I researched this before because we're pretty picky about what sort of apps and things that we put on our phone, because that can get tricky. You know, like, it can get kind of crazy. So we're picky about it, and I did research it, and they are Christian people, and they come very highly recommended by a lot of people. Focus on the Family has recommended them. So the app is a little, if you get it, there's other things, okay, for married people. Hide it on your phone. It's all very okay. Like, it's respectful, but there are other things. But there's one thing on there. It's called, I was going to ask
Everybody's just going to start looking at the app to try to find what is she talking about? Oh, whoa, mama.
It is very professional, but there are other things, okay? But it's called Ultimate Intimacy, okay? And there is conversation starters is what we used it for. And we used it like during dinner, or if we were like sitting and doing nothing. We use these conversation starters, and it has different categories like finances, spiritual, romance, children or family, a couple of different ones. And it gives you these questions, and it was like, some of them, I mean, like, we've been married 13 years. I know it's not as long as a lot of you in this room, but I feel like we've been together for a long time. Like, we've had a lot of conversations. But it would give us some conversation starters that we were like, I don't think I've ever asked you that before. So that was really neat to go through. And when Michelle told me it was back to the garden, like, that's the theme, right? I went back and read, in Genesis. I was like, I should probably read when they're in the garden. And what, like, caught my eye this time is, Shaun, are you looking at the app? Stop. Pay attention to me. So when I went back and reread, I read so Coy's going to help me with this part because I'm not as, so it would technically be after they ate, right? So, okay. So it'd be after they ate, and God comes looking for Adam and Eve, and obviously he's God, right? He already knows where they are, and he, like, already knows what has happened. But God says, where are you? And then Adam replies to him, and then he says, well, who told you that? Like, who told you you were naked? And then, then it's out. Like, he's like, man, this is what we did. The woman told me to do that. But what really caught my eye that time is, like, God responded with a question. Like, he didn't, like, I know what you did, like, you son of a gun, Like, he just asked him. So I think, like, questions in your marriage is very important, like, and to just be vulnerable with each other. Like, there were some things I was like, I had no idea that bothered you. Like, that's not even a big deal to me. I could totally change that, Like, I could make this little adjustment in my life to make things between us so much better. So the questions were really cool, and I gave you my app so you can think all those, whatever you want to think from the app later.
Yeah, I think the questions are really good because there's certain questions that for a husband and a wife that if you ask them, like, just out of the blue, it could be bad for you. You know what I mean? Like, but the app, if it's already on there and it's telling you, hey, talk about this, then you're not going to step on any, like, feelings by being like, oh, hey, babe, like, what about our intimacy? Is that all good? If you ask that as a guy, you're probably going to be like, well, what do you mean? Well, I'll show you all good. But at this app, I mean, that's just an example. There's other things, but we all know sex is one of the most important things to all of us. So that is a big one. But, it has a lot of different things because it is on there. They know people don't want to ask these kind of questions naturally, so they're on this app to help you with those questions. Because, like, the app just said to ask this, you know what I mean? And it goes both ways. There's things that for a husband and a wife that they probably don't want to bring up because they don't want to hurt any feelings or automatically get someone on the defensive, because we know if we get on the defensive right off the bat, then you're probably not going to have a positive outcome from it anyways. So I think that's why it's really helpful, because it can actually, like, reveal things that, like she said, we might have never known if we wouldn't have had a little help with that particular thing, saying, hey, ask this question. And they're like, oh, well, I never really knew, or I wasn't doing this or I was doing that. So I think that is a key part to that.
So we just want to encourage you guys. Like, if I have to sit up here and, like, be nervous in front of all of you to make it, like, just a little bit better for you, like, I'm totally willing, obviously, because Shaun said I had to. But no, I'm just kidding. So we, like, literally, we just want to encourage you, like, to get away and, like, have some time together, and call it a vision retreat. Like, be all about it. You can call it something else if you want, but we like vision. Okay, like, it's our thing. So you can call it that. But so, like, really get away and do it. Guys, I did not, like, the 2020 year, like, everybody's always like, nah, terrible year. Like, it was actually a pretty good year for us. Like, like, we had a really good year. Like, Coy, he got to continue working. We were so blessed by that factor. We did stay home some more, like, and not see some of our family for a couple weeks. That was tough because we were really close to our families. But, like, 2020 was an okay year for us. Like, we kind of continued. My kids were already homeschooled, so it was, like, fine, So, really, we took this retreat, and we're like, oh, we're pretty good, And 2021 has kind of been, like, a roller coaster for us. We have gone through some crazy ups and downs just in our life, normal stuff, like our car broke, Coy had surgery, our car got fixed, our car broke again. It's just like everything like keeps happening, like like I think we have a serious issue with one of our pipes in our house, like it's like one thing after another, like whatever. So I honestly don't think we'd be doing as good as we are with each other unless we like saw some of those things and like we knew each other's hearts for like what we want to happen in our life. And you're doing something good when the enemy keeps like attacking you and you keep like, great, now that's broken, wonderful, like, yay, now I have another bill, whatever. Like, it's like a good thing if you keep getting your attacks, because he doesn't like marriage and he wants to take you down. So like I honestly don't think we would be doing as good as we are with each other unless we went and we saw the vision for each other and we know what God wants for us, and we know who he is. Like we are confident in that in ourselves and in our marriage. And so, like he really laid out some ministry things, because sometimes I feel like you jump into ministry and you're like, am I even supposed to be doing this, But he laid out things that he wants us to be doing, and so we continue to do them, and we are just, we're thankful that we got to do something like this. So if you guys can get away, you should totally do it. We're totally going again. I haven't even asked my mother-in-law, but I know she'll say yes. She's like, sure, longer this time. I don't care. So yeah, I think that's, I hope we spoke into you a little bit in our craziness back and forth. So thank you, guys. Is that all you want to say?
Yeah, just to give you like a few examples, just kind of some things that, just so you kind of see how she said, we had a plan, we had categories we wanted to talk about. Once we got up there, we took a calendar that we put things on to help us plan. It was as practical as, hey, we're going to talk about our finances and our bills every Friday on the calendar. We stuck to that. And as spiritual as we want to pray with each other this amount of time every day and get in God's word. And then as life enhancing, as we decided to try to spend every other week, I can't remember what it was Tuesday. Well, okay. Yeah. Saturdays originally, but we've changed the days to move it around a few times, but we try to spend an hour with just, like one of us with one of our kids alone. Like, 1 week I go with Kaysen and we do something, and she goes with Carlette. And then the next week we flip-flop. I go with Carlette and do something, and she goes with Kaysen, and to just because when you're all together, it's different than when you get to spend like one-on-one time with your kids. And, so it's just different things like that. Some real practical, some not, some more spiritually. But my thought was completely just practical about this thing. I was not at all even thinking about, what God's vision was for our marriage. But then when we got there, I think God just really used that to just show us things. And we got to talk about areas of ministry that we've always wanted to be involved in, different things that spiritually, things that we've always possibly like struggled with and needed more insight into, and God and the Holy Spirit really moved in an awesome way. So I just think, have big dreams for your marriage. Know that your marriage can really change the world around you, because people see what you're doing and it can really change them. It's not just for you. Your marriage isn't just for you. It's not just for self-pleasure. It's to change the world around you, and you will be more fulfilled and more pleased when you're in alignment with God's will for your marriage. So most of all, try to get together and pray every day. If you can only do 5 minutes, then do 5 minutes, but I guarantee you, as you start to do that, the time will get longer and longer. But pray together and seek God. And sometimes you might sit down, however you do it. We like to kind of kneel at a couch. You might start praying, and then in 15 minutes you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh. But be active and try, okay? Yeah, I do that more than her, and I'll start praying weird things in the prayer, and she's like, what are you talking about? I prayed one time that Jimmy Barnes would fix the Dr. Pepper machine. I don't know where that came from. But anyways, take the initiative. None of us in here have all the answers, but the Heavenly Father does. And none of us in here are more equipped to seek God than anyone else. We all have the same ability to seek after God, and He wants to be part of all of our marriages equally. He doesn't think, oh, I want to be part of this marriage, not so much this one. He wants to be right in the middle of everything that our marriage has to do. He loves your marriage. That's why the enemy hates it so much, because God loves it so much. He wants to be an equal part of that. So let Him be a part of that. And I hope you guys got some good things out of this tonight. And thank you for giving us the opportunity, Shaun. And that's it for us.
Wow, that was such a good session. I so enjoyed that, babe. I love they came in with a little comedy. Coy, hope you enjoyed that. Just some silly joke stuff, just to lighten the mood. You could kind of feel the atmosphere, just kind of relax a little bit. And then they kind of got started with just laying out the vision and all that. And I thought the whole thing was wonderful.
Yeah, and Amanda brought more of the practical with laying it out how exactly that they did it, where they had the time that they brought on the discussions that may have been hard or whatever it might have been.
Like the heavy stuff or difficult.
Whatever. Yeah. And then at a certain time it was cut off, and then they went and enjoyed it and didn't bring it over into the fun time.
Absolutely. Setting those boundaries, but still addressing the things that need to be addressed. I thought that was very impactful.
Yeah.
And then just to see their joy with each other, just that they both enjoyed doing that. I just thought, man, this is really good.
Yeah, hopefully it inspired all of you to maybe even take that time to go and really put a vision before what your marriage needs to be, where it needs to go, in the direction.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that is it for today. We hope you enjoyed that session. Feel free to watch as much as you want. Share that video, like that video, and thank you for joining us today on this journey as we are woven together.